Hello everyone and welcome to Siriana Tarot. This is a singles new love reading for Cancer. We're going to look at the kind of love you're ready to experience now based on the growth you've already done. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Ooh, I'm starting this reading seeing 1010, an auspicious, very good sign. Clear messages, advice, and guidance. For my Cancers, please. All right, so your person is showing up as the Five of Wands, okay? Ooh, we're seeing the Knight of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy. Somebody deeply romantic here. They're viewing you as the Nine of Wands, all right? They might see you as a little bit guarded, which Cancer, you know we are. And we see the Eight of Cups. Now, the Eight of Cups doesn't always mean, this connection is meant to come into your life and leave. The Eight of Cups, we see someone walking towards this sunset, right? Walking towards this new beginning even. Could be sunrise, it could be sunset. But it's walking towards the Ten of Cups. So I do think there's a lot of potential here, Cancer. And we see the Four of Cups. All right, Moon and Cancer. So what I'm seeing here is you may have somebody here who's feeling a little bit bored and discontent with the current dating scene or with life in general. They may be experiencing a bit of conflict. So that could be at work, it could be at home, it could be in other relationships. They may kind of come off as a bit emotionally unavailable, except when it comes to you. Now, I am getting this person may be a little bit combative, okay? But again, I think it's because they're kind of getting peppered from, a lot of different angles when you meet them. So it could be that they're, having some financial problems. It could be that they're having difficulties with, other relationships, family members, friends, things like that. Or their energy is just a little bit scattered. And I do feel like this is going to be something that comes as a surprise. Maybe for you, because you might not be sure that this person or this type of person is interested. Or again, you might just really surprise this person because I feel like there's something about you here, Cancer, that really softens them, helps them kind of recalibrate towards that energy of love and romance. Now, the Five of Wands can also indicate that this person may have a lot of different people who are interested in them. All right, but I feel like they're not really interested in a lot of people. All right, so we see the King of Cups. So this person definitely has strong water in their chart. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or they embody this very creative, very loving, very selfless energy. But the King of Cups, he also, he doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve. So again, you may not see this person originally as super loving and affectionate, but I feel their energy towards you is very sweet and loving. I also love this King of Cups. This person could be a musician, or they really, they love music, like they may dedicate songs to you, make you playlists and things like that. But I'm also seeing that this person has been manifesting you or someone just like you, Cancer. And we see the Star card in reverse, Aquarius energy. So this person, I do feel you meet them at a time when things are really unsure for them. I don't know if their job security feels like not so secure, their living situation, or this person might just be not so sure about ever finding the one, or finding someone they can commit to, or finding someone that really turns them on, interests them, that they feel is really worthwhile. And I do think that you are a bit of a tower moment for this person. I also feel for some of my Cancers, this may come as a surprise for you, okay? Either who this person is or, the type of person that this is. My Cancers, we see the Seven of Wands. There may be a part of you that's assuming you're going to walk away from this before it gets started. I do kind of get that. And again, you may feel like you need to protect yourself. And again, not from this person, but their circumstances. And again, you might just say, yeah, this person's nice, they're good looking, they're always sweet to me, but they've got a lot going on. And so I do think my Cancers are a little bit guarded, and we do get that. They're seeing that with the Nine of Wands. Now, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, not that it doesn't mean anything, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It just means, my Cancers, you're protecting yourselves and you're very discerning. And that safety really matters to you. Emotional safety, stability. Some of you might meet this person as you're about to start a new journey or take a trip, but there's something about this person that makes you stop and think, is this something worth fighting for? But I do see I'm picking up on my Cancers here who've worked really hard for their independence and for their emotional stability. So it's natural, it's normal that you're going to be like, let me see, does this person add value to my life, or are they going to scatter my energy? Are they going to, wreck my nervous system? And I do feel that, I do feel like there is something very special here. So let's see. What do my Cancers need to know about this person? They're very funny. So expect a lot of fun and light energy with this person. The laughter you share may very well bond you and alleviate stress. They could be a Pisces. Okay, there's that watery energy coming through. An air of mystery around this watery sign, and though they can be quiet, their thoughts and emotions run deep. Okay. Passive. Yeah, so I do think you meet this person when they're not really actively looking to date or find a connection. Again, they could have people who are interested in them. Maybe they are casually dating, but I kind of feel like they're not really stepping up anywhere when it comes to dating, except Cancer when it comes to you. All right, and we do get Aries energy. So I do feel like they've got a little bit of this Mars energy, not a little bit, a lot of this Mars energy, which does make them a little bit combative at times, but nothing my Cancers can't handle. Or I feel like you're going to be a very grounding, calming force for this person. I also think you're going to really assuage this person. So this sign exhibits strength, resilience, they're a risk taker, and they have a carefree, youthful personality. Yeah, I do get that from them. The Knight of Cups tells me this person is very deeply romantic. They're dreamy. I feel like, again, they do get a lot of attention. I also feel with the Knight of Cups that this person has kind of a tough outer shell, kind of like my Cancers, right? But they have, when it comes to you, they treat you very differently. And again, I think some of my Cancers, you might prickle at this at first, right? Like, oh, this person's maybe a little bit crass, or they're a little bit tough, or they're a little bit combative. But the energy, but when they look at you, when they talk to you, there's like this sweet romantic energy. And I'm not getting a falsehood from this. I'm getting that, yeah, that this person is strong and protective and tough. But when it comes to you, you ignite something very different, or you kind of evoke a tenderness from them. So let's see what else we need to know about them. Yeah, you're going to be on their mind and in their heart. You are a tower moment for this person. All right. They're rolling in money. So this person may be quite wealthy or have a lot of money. I feel like they might have nice things, like a nice car, nice home, things like that. And they love music. So yeah, so I do feel there's something here about this musician energy coming through. Or they love, they might write you songs, dedicate you songs, make you playlists and things like that. And we do see that this person is a heartbreaker, so they are quite sexy here, Cancer. All right, and I do feel like they're sexy and they're also quite attractive. All right, so just one moment. Sorry, I had to pause the camera there to sneeze. All right, not sure where that came from. All right, clear messages, advice, and guidance for my Cancers, please. What else do my Cancers need to know? Yeah, there it is. Double confirmation. This person is very romantic. Flowers, gifts, wine and dine, vacations, just because. Now, coincidentally, I am doing this reading on Valentine's Day, but of course some of you may see this afterwards. But yeah, there may be, this might be your Valentine, right? Or they might extend a beautiful gift or message for you today, or in the coming days. So again, this person very deeply romantic, Cancer. They may have a beard or a mustache. They could have a full beard, a goatee. They could be manicured. Again, I know not all of you are interested in people that can even grow facial hair. So these really specific messages, Cancer, are going to resonate with some of you, but they're not going but they're going to be confirmation for some of you, but they're not going to resonate with each and every one of you. And it doesn't mean it's not your reading. I'm just asking you to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Okay, and we see curvy. So some of you, this person is shapely, full-figured, big booty, voluptuous. For some of you, that's your energy. But when I get these types of messages, I get there's going to be a strong physical attraction between you and this person. All right, and we see at the bottom of the deck, dependable and consistent. Beautiful. That's exactly what my Cancers long for, need in a connection. So, we're not done yet. I was jumping ahead, so let's see if there's anything else my Cancers need to know when it comes to this person. Is there anything else my Cancers need to know when it comes to this person? Okay, they met you more than a year ago, so it could be somebody that you've dealt with before, but it can also just be somebody you know from a while back that you were never romantically involved with. And for others of my Cancers, this is that sense of familiarity here with a past life soulmate. Okay, this person may be sarcastic. All right, so they have a dry sense of humor. Ooh, we do get confirmation that this person already knows who you are. So they may be around you already, Cancer. Maybe they're already checking you out. And they may speak with an accent. So they may come from a different city, state, or country, or region. All right, so with the Nine of Wands here, they see you as guarded. And like I said, my Cancers, you are guarded because I feel like you're working really, really hard, or you have worked really hard for emotional stability, for balance, for everything that you have. And so there's nothing wrong with wanting to protect that and being discerning. And in fact, I do think it's really in alignment with Cancerian energy in general. The Nine of Wands to me also is a very sexual card. I'm not going to go into why that is, but in the history of the Tarot, this is a very sexual, there are sexual innuendos to this card. But the Nine of Wands is like this person's very attracted to you. But there's also an element here of past life soulmate connection. We see Page of Swords in reverse. I think this person sees you as a little bit guarded. Now that might put them on a little bit of high alert. Now, I don't think that it's anything that's going to turn them off, but I do feel like this person might be a little bit worried why you're so guarded or why you hold back. They may feel like in the beginning, like there's something they can't really trust, or they assume that maybe you're dating other people, or you're seeing other people, or there's something that you don't want to say. Now, the Page of Swords in reverse can also indicate gossip. So they might be listening to gossip about you, or they might be worried that you've heard gossip about them, because again, it does look like, I don't think their life is in shambles or anything like that, but they are experiencing some sort of conflict. This person this is also a classic card that's indicating they're checking you out. And we do already see that maybe this person already knows who you are, or they're checking you out from afar. And we see the Five of Wands. Look at that. You both are showing up as Five of Wands energy. So this person also knows, Cancer, that you do get a lot of attention, that there are other people that are interested in you. And you might also be at a point in time in your life, maybe you're experiencing some conflict as well. The economy is pretty shitty for a lot of people right now. So they might, you might be like, oh, I'm not making the money I'm used to. Maybe they're like, yeah, me neither. Business has been slow, et cetera, et cetera. So it does feel like there's something here in this regard where you two mirror each other. Again, you could also be experiencing conflict in your other relationships, or your living situation. I'm also getting, with both of you showing up as the Five of Wands, you and this person may not agree on everything. And that's okay. There can be a healthy amount of tension within a relationship, just as long as that tension doesn't turn into contempt. And I'm not seeing that here at all. My Cancers, how you're going to be feeling Emperor energy in reverse. Again, you are going to feel a little bit less than confident here when it comes to this person in the beginning. You might not be feeling like you're ready to settle down, or you might be a little bit hesitant about, is this the person I want to be in a relationship with? Again, there's physical attraction. There's a lot that I think you like about this person, but I also think, I'm not going to say that you feel like there are red flags, but I think you're scanning for red flags here. Now, that could be because you've been focused on your healing and your independence, and you're very protective of yourself right now, Cancer, or when you meet this person. But I'm also seeing with the Emperor in reverse, like you could be scanning for red flags because, again, this person's, their energy is a little bit scattered with that Five of Wands. Maybe you do see them as a little bit combative, or you see this tension and you're like, is that what I want in my life? But I feel like when it translates to you, Cancer, their energy is very different. But it is something to be aware of, right? Because it feels like it is part of their personality. All right, so let's keep going. And, I don't think my Cancers are afraid. I mean, I think you can absolutely hold your own. And most likely this person's going to see that, recognize that. And also, I'm just getting this really strong independent energy from you. Like if something isn't right, like you're not going to be sitting around trying to fix it like you used to, right? You're going to be like, you know what, this isn't working. I have my freedom, I have my independence, I make my own damn money, I pay my own bills, I feel like I'm really connecting with some very, very independent, very healed Cancers. All right, so what they really like about you, see, Cancer, in some way, you do intimidate this person, but they like that because they know they can't push you around. They also know, Cancer, you don't need them. You want them, and that is a very different dynamic. And so we see the bully archetype highlights your tendency to intimidate others, and it helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. So again, that you've done a lot of your shadow work. They know it. Ooh, Cancer, you're a force to be reckoned with. They know it. They know it. This is what they're attracted to, because I don't think they've been attracting high vibrational partners or options until you. Ooh, I love this, the prostitute archetype, because she's powerful, whether male or female, it doesn't matter. This accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. What I just said, ooh, I just got chills. What I just said, you don't need this person, and they know it. You don't need this person. So they know that if they're going to be in your life, Cancer, it's because they're doing something right and because they add value to your life. And they also know the minute that stops, my Cancers are going to, lay down the law, or my Cancers are going to walk away. And it doesn't feel like there's like this constant fear of that. But again, they're recognizing your strength. They're recognizing your independence. And I also think it naturally makes this person want to step up. And also treat you right? But I love this because we're also getting the mother archetype. They see you as nurturing, patient, unconditionally loving, and a joy in giving birth to life. So some of you might be single parents. Others of you, that's not the case, but they just, Cancer is the mother archetype in the Zodiac. So, whether you're male or female, Cancer is just that very creative, loving, nurturing, very divine feminine energy. Although, doesn't mean that you're feminine if you're a Cancer male and that's not how you feel. But you're just creative, nurturing, unconditionally loving. All right, what else do we need to know about this connection? So how I'm reading the Eight of Cups here, and it makes a bit more sense now that I've worked through this energy. My Cancers, if this person doesn't treat you right, you are going to walk the F away. Excuse my language, but that's how I'm feeling. Like if this is not in alignment with you, you are in a beautiful place where you are not going to try to fix this. You are not going to, and not to say that you're not going to put in effort and you're not going to try to get through any difficulties in this relationships. No, you're not flippant. You're not capricious, but you're not going to stay in something that doesn't feel aligned with you. And I feel like that's a real strength here. I feel like it's two people who are choosing to be with each other, not out of need, but because of want. But I also see that there's a real possibility of moving towards the Ten of Cups here. So Spirit saying that this connection unfolds according to emotional readiness, Patience allows alignment to deepen. So even if there's a bit of chaos in this person's life or conflict, emotionally, they do seem ready for you. And I feel like my Cancers, you're also ready for this person. All right. And we see this connection asks you to evolve beyond familiar patterns. And yeah, and I do think there's going to be some triggering that comes up here. But at the same time, it's like my Cancers, you do recognize things need to be done differently and that you are a very different person than your last relationship. And I feel a lot of my Cancers within this relationship, you're going to catch yourself saying that previous version of me would have not spoken up, would have put up with that, or would have just walked away from this without speaking my piece or trying to work on this, like you name it. So I feel like a lot of my Cancers, you are going to find yourself saying, you know, the previous version of me wouldn't have or would have, and now I'm choosing to do things differently. And there's something beautiful in that because it tells me there's evolution here within this connection. And we see this connection honors each person's journey. Yeah, and I love that because I do feel like my Cancers, this is a very mature energy. And I feel like, you know, you both are going to honor each other's careers, honor each other's independence, and really want to come together. And that makes this really beautiful. So we see this meeting happens while you're engaging in something you enjoy or feel passionate about. Alignment forms through authenticity. Beautiful. So again, doing something you love, doing something you're passionate about, a big theme here and what brings you two together. All right, let's see anything else my Cancers need to know. Anything else my Cancers need to know here, please. Anything else my Cancers need to know here, please. Anything else my Cancers need to know, please. All right, so manifesting the one. Very soon, your true love will arrive. I love that. So you're manifesting this. Freedom. This is a recurring theme in this reading, Cancer. Healthy space and room to breathe. Adult connection. I love this. All right, healthy connection through honest communication. Yeah, so I expect a heart-to-heart conversation, expect that truth and that honesty, which I do think is going to really ground this connection and also provide it a lot of what it needs to go the distance. It's also going to be a very sexy connection. And again, we get double confirmation from the beginning to the end of this reading that this is going to be something very unexpected, something very different. Wow. All right, Cancers. Let's see if there's any important dates or times. Like I said, a lot of you, this person could already be around you. I am doing this on the 14th of February, so some of you will be receiving a Valentine's from this person or a sweet message today. For others of you, that's not the case, but let's see. June. So we get, that's Gemini, Cancer energy. All right. And maybe it's happening between now and June. And we also see next month. So I'm doing this in the month of February. So next month is March. So February, March, June could be important dates or birthdays or just important dates for this connection. All right, my lovely Cancers, I'm going to leave it here. I'm sending you love and light. Take care.